Blessed be the fruit.
May the Lord open.
How's your day going? You look pretty.
Haven't we all been in a relationship with a Nick Blaine? For 5 out of the 6 seasons of The Handmaid's Tale, Nick is written to be the obvious nice guy of the show. Sweet, calming disposition, soft-spoken man of few words.
You look pretty.
Nick is visualized as this protector. To me, he gave off this Edward Cullen vibe, aloof, cool, but appears to be a bit unattainable.
I feel very protective of you.
He's unassuming, unlike the other men he actually sees women, well, at least June, as people. In the beginning and throughout most of the series, what's not to like about Nick?
Well, then I hope you enjoy disappointment.
He was, after all, June's refuge, her savior, or at least tried to be, one of her biggest allies of the male persuasion, often displaying, even with other women in the picture, an exuberant amount of loyalty towards her. Until he wasn't. So what happened? In this video, I'm going to try and recap what I remember of Nick and June's relationship from the very start. And to keep things interesting along the way, let's see if we can find clues that he'd eventually betray her. Because there's always indicators. We often just choose to ignore them as we're high on oxytocin. But in doing this, hopefully it serves as a lesson to all of us, so we never waste our time falling for and investing in a deceptive, nice guy Nick ever again. This is a big one. First and foremost, it's impossible to move forward in this discussion without the acknowledgement of Nick's distorted moral compass. Every man and woman has a different moral compass, but at the end of the day, that's our guide and set of principles that we all use to distinguish what's right from what's wrong. And from what I observed, it's initially seen that Nick is not a man of integrity. No integrity when it comes to just standard social, societal codes of conduct, biblical laws, however you want to view this. But June has a whole husband. Religious or not, I think it's pretty well established that you shall not covet another man's wife.
You shouldn't wear anything from me.
And if you want to use the excuse that they're in Gilead now, Luke's not June's husband in Gilead, she's a handmaid, well, having relations with a handmaid is considered grape if you are not that handmaid's commander, a serious offense that will land you on the wall in Gilead. So that argument is null as well. So we have to ask ourselves, as it's an important baseline here, but what world is Nick living in? Gilead or elsewhere? I mean, he's an eye, yet he has no respect for Gilead law. And if you want to believe early on that he's a part of this quiet resistance in Gilead, he's also showing that he has no respect for standard societal laws by moving in on a married woman who's desperately trying to find her child. So my conclusion, at least, is that Nick is living in a world that's all about self. He's self-serving. What drives him is his attraction to June. And I mean attraction in the sense that she needs him. He's attracted to that. He's attracted to how he sees / gets to feel about himself in her presence, which is very powerful. And while that statement alone, that he's living in a world that's all about self, doesn't sound all that bad, it's actually kind of a huge deal when we see how easy it was for him to betray June in the end.
You need to be careful with her, Afghan.
Sowing the seed of division.
Don't get too close to her, it's dangerous.
So, of Glenn, June's walking partner, whom she was initially very weary of, later turns out to be one of her closest allies. And Nick seemed not too keen on June maturing that relationship. Was it because he was really looking out for her best interest, or did he think that he was the only one who could save her? We know early on that Nick is an eye when he tells June to be careful of Glenn, but I never quite understood whether it was because he knew that she was a lesbian or if it was because that he had some information about her being a part of something bigger. Either way, he sows a bit of doubt in this budding relationship and uses this first sign as a display of personal loyalty to her. Like, I care about you and I don't want you getting mixed up with those people.
Do you know if Glenn's gone? You said she was dangerous. What'd you mean?
A person trying to sow discord or separate you from your friends or your allies, that's a classic covert narc trait. It's impossible to understand Nick's true intentions behind him telling June to be careful of Glenn, but that just never sat right with me.
Can't change anything about this. It's going to end the same no matter what you do. So there's no point trying to be tough or brave. Everybody breaks.
For the girls who think they're different, I did not know how to title this section, but an indication of how a man treats other women is an indication of how he'll treat you eventually. Nick betrayed wife number 1 by not making her feel safe.
I'm gonna miss you.
It's just a few days.
I know. I'm still going to.
Nick's first young wife, Eden, it was easy to empathize with his cold and aloofness towards her because I'm sure the audience all had the same visceral reaction, that it was so sick that they made this girl grossly younger and that relationship was completely inappropriate by any real-world standards. Yet Nick could have made her feel safe if doing nothing more than just being her friend. But he avoided her, he gave her the cold shoulder, had no compassion for Eden. I know it was likely uncomfortable and probably impossible to fake feelings when you're in love with someone else who isn't a child, but he couldn't even just be her friend, like break out a board game, bond in a platonic manner, and try to curb this young girl's confusion and suspicion in a more covert way. You are an eye after all. Nick doesn't think to show her any compassion until June tells him to, and by then it's a little too late. Nick betrayed wife number 2 by not making her feel safe. Same story, different, more age-appropriate woman. So June's reunited with her husband, moving on with Luke and off figuring out her place in this brave new world. And Nick obviously is on another path that's not aligned to June's desires to take down Gilead. Yet Rose, Nick's second wife, can still suss out while carrying his child that his heart lies elsewhere. And the thing is, we are led to believe that there is some trust in Nick's marriage to Rose because she's obviously knowledgeable about what he does behind closed doors. Asking about June, I mean, they clearly communicate in a semi-open way. But as we'll see when it comes to Nick, trust and open communication apparently does not always equal safety. And we know how it ends. It was hard to watch June get the rug pulled out from under her in the most gut-wrenching way, like not even him directly telling her, but her having to overhear this conversation in a closet, which made it 10 times worse. This show wrote Nick to be the forbidden fruit, and that goes both ways. He was that to June, and June was that to him. Either way, when you write a character like this and pull the audience into the lore of the unthinkable and the unattainable, engulfing us all in this passion-filled journey of their forbidden tryst, marked with tender words of affection, it is so easy to root for him, to root for them, and completely overlook all of the flaws in his character. Having a distorted moral compass, sowing seeds of doubt and division, a track record of letting women in his life down. How's that saying go about Satan masquerading around as an angel of light? So what I got from this is that Nick, he needed to be June's savior, and when she was saved, he really couldn't play that role for her anymore. So he moves on to saving and securing something else, and that's his place as a high-ranking commander in Gilead.